Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we are going to go over some of the things that maybe avoidants feel they might not even be aware of, or it's things that they say or their needs that they're not really good at communicating that they don't necessarily tell you or you might not be aware of. It might be like some secrets that they may feel they have. It's not that they are hiding it from you, but from your perspective, it might feel like a secret just because you're not aware of it, if that makes sense. So I'm not implying that they're hiding it from you. I'm just not really sure how to word it, but I hope that makes sense. And the reason why we're going to go over it, we're going over this on my second channel instead of my main channel, is because it can be a little bit triggering. And I know a lot of people that watch my main channel, some people are just like viewers who came up on my video and they're looking for like more positive things or more things about love. And this one might discourage them if it's like their first video they ever seen of mine. But this channel is a lot smaller. Like random people are not going to come to find this smaller channel, right? Random people are coming up to my main channel because it's a little bit larger, but this one, a lot of random people are not going to. It's going to be someone who's like specifically looking for this or someone who follows me in general. And so you guys are already familiar with a lot of my techniques. And so you're not going to hear this as like the first intro of avoidance and then you guys, freak out. A lot of you guys who are watching this video, that's why I put up my second channel. So you like already have that foundation, so it's not as triggering. That's my goal. I don't know if it will work, but just letting you guys know this does not mean that your partner doesn't love you. It doesn't mean that your relationship is doomed. It doesn't mean that all avoidants are bad. It doesn't mean that, you're too difficult or you're too needy. None of those things at all, okay? Some people just have fleeting thoughts, and this is kind of what this is about. But it's also good stuff too, and it's a mix, okay? Mixed bag, okay? And the very first, thing about avoidance you might not know, secrets or whatever you want to call it, is that avoidants actually have different needs. Like just simply put. Maybe when they get healed, the needs will be more similar. But as of now, if they are an avoidant, dismissive, or feel fearful, leaning dismissive, they have a different need than you do, and that's okay. So they have a different perspective on love. They tend to value more like time spent together or actions, such as cooking or opening doors for you, over that verbal reassurance or even like consistent text messaging. They do like consistent text messaging to some extent, but they don't need it to a detailed point, right? Whereas you guys might want a little bit more detail in that text message, which is good, right? Different needs, and that's okay. It's just something to recognize that it doesn't mean they're necessarily rejecting you if they are not meeting these needs that you're looking for. It has nothing to do with rejecting you at all, okay? Sometimes they don't understand. Just like you don't understand their needs all the time, they don't understand yours. Just something to think about, okay? Now, the next one I think is something that a lot of people don't recognize. I feel like it's a positive thing, but it may be a little triggering, okay? Some avoidants actually really do want to love you. And they do love you like inside, but they can't really say it or know how to verbalize it. And they want to show you their love, but they genuinely do not know how to. This is not an excuse, right? I'm not saying that means you got to stay with somebody who's not ready to show love or whatever it is. It's just they don't really know what to word it like, how to present it to themselves, like directly. It's very internal, but it's not coming out externally. And they're wondering why. It makes them anxious too. And they want to love you and they feel bad and they don't want to be the person who loves you less because they don't actually feel like they do love you less. It just looks like that. And that's a really frustrating position for them to be in. Because now you think they love you less and they can't prove that they love you because it's not showing up and they don't actually know what to do. And so that's sometimes why they're really afraid to say they love you, because what if they have doubts too? Like, what if it means that they don't? Why do I feel this way? Why is it so hard for me to love you? What's wrong with me? Right? And the truth of the matter is it's their attachment issue. And as they heal, the love is more prominent and more obvious. But this is the reason why they wrestle with that word, loving somebody. It's very, very hard for them. Some of them don't feel like they've ever really loved somebody. Until they heal or get closer to healing, then they really recognize what it is, right? But it's really hard for them. The next one is that I'm just being really, really honest with you guys. You guys matter a lot more to them than you realize. Like, I almost guarantee you, all of you guys are in a relationship with an avoidant and they care about you so much more than you think they do. I mean, I see it all the time. I'm barely on social media. I'm not a social media type person, which is funny because I post videos, but like in my day-to-day, I'm not like scrolling Instagram or like my Instagram is like private. Like I'm not that type of person. And still sometimes I see where somebody's like, I saw this one thing. It was like I don't know which platform it's on, but I think it was like late night thoughts or late night anxiety, like, you know, late night fears or something. Did my avoidant ex ever love me? And I'm just like, of course, like very likely they do. Like they probably did. Why were you in their life? Like they don't really bother with people who are not in their life. Something happened. They were triggered. Maybe it wasn't even full blown love yet, but they had something for you and probably was love. Like it's not, you just will never understand that. And that's okay. I shouldn't have said that. It's not that you'll never understand it, but it's hard to understand because avoidance, they just don't show it, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Like it's just, they don't recognize this as something to show. They don't have those tools, but it doesn't ever mean that they literally don't have that feeling. They're human. It's not absent. It's there. I can guarantee you all of your exes that are avoidant or the partner that's avoidant, whatever, all of them liked you, loved you more than you could ever imagine. Like I'm just telling you the truth. I understand a lot of you guys will not agree with that. I am just telling you, maybe one day you'll understand that, okay? I'm not picking on you. I'm just being real, okay? The next one is emotional awareness. Avoidants do have some emotional awareness about their own disappointment in relationships, but they might not know how to express it. They may feel misunderstood and hurt, similar to how you feel. Like quite genuinely, both of you guys might feel misunderstood, unloved, and unappreciated, but you don't know how to say it. And they're just less vocal. It doesn't mean that they don't need you too in their own way, right? They might need you in a different way, or want you is a better word. Need, that's not the right word. Want. They may want you in a way that maybe you haven't showed up for them, and they want that, just like you want them to maybe hold your hands more or give you more reassurance. They want you to be more gentle with them or more patient, right? Just they have that awareness to some extent. They absolutely do, okay? The next one is some avoidants feel this way, but it takes trust to get out of this. So I'm not saying not to do this, okay? But some avoidants believe that if you're sticking around with them for a long time, their perception of patience is that they may feel like it's insincere, that you don't actually like them, you just want something out of them, right? And so that's why sometimes a lot of avoidants will say something along the lines of like, you could do better, or I can't give you what you want, or I don't know why you're still here. They say that because they have this doubt that you're here genuinely. So all you really have to do is tell them that, no, I'm an adult. I'm a big girl. I'm a big boy. I can handle myself. I'm here because I want to be here. And if I want to leave, I will leave, right? If you want to leave, you can leave, but I will leave when I'm ready. You don't have to leave for me, okay? I can be flexible. I can handle myself. I need you to at least understand that. I hear what you're saying and I get what you're saying. I'm not sitting here expecting you to change. I'm here because I want to be, right? Just tell them that and it's going to make it a little bit easier, okay? The next one is communication challenges regarding honesty, okay? Some avoidant individuals, when they're honest, it's too blunt and it hurts their partner's feelings. And so some avoidant individuals, to overcompensate, they try to ignore your hurt because they actually feel really guilty and they don't know what to do with it. So they may say something that's like very hurtful, but they didn't want to soften it because if they feel like if they soften it, then they're lying, or then they're being too attuned to your feelings and they're supposed to be like really independent from how they were raised. And so they just say something very blunt and that may hurt you. However, some avoidants, and this is more common with fearful avoidants, they actually may struggle to be honest because they're afraid they're going to hurt your feelings and they don't know how to handle that overwhelmed emotion, right? And so sometimes what can happen or help is if you're an anxious partner or a fearful avoidant, what can help is if you actually have your reactions in a more structured way so that the avoidant individual feels more comfortable with their approach of honesty. So if they're very blunt and very direct, more common with dismissive avoidance, you can mention, okay, I appreciate you saying that. Is there a way that you can tone it down or word it in a different way? I heard your message, but it came across pretty harsh to me, if I'm being completely honest with you, right? You're saying it like that. Or let's say they're fearful of it doesn't even have to be fearful, but an avoidant who's not fully being honest with you. And you can hear that they don't want to be fully direct. They are avoiding confrontation. They're avoiding that overwhelming feeling. You might mention, okay, I'm hearing some things and it's not making full sense to me. I understand that I can be a lot sometimes, or I can react a little heavy, but I do still want you to be honest. I'm working on my emotions on my end. So please just be honest with me and I can handle my feelings myself, right? And so you're prompting them and you're letting them know what they can do so that they don't have to hide these things from you, which I'm not saying is a good thing. I'm just being completely honest with you, okay? As I always am in all of my videos. The next one is the dynamics for affection. Sometimes pushing for affection continuously can actually be very suffocating for avoidance. However, that doesn't mean they don't want affection from you. They like that you're affectionate. That's why you're in their life, right? But just be more gentle with it. Sometimes seeking affection, if it's done gently, it's a little bit more helpful or more consistent with how they want to be available for you. And then as time goes on, they'll be more comfortable with that affection and connection, and they'll be more willing to hear those stronger bids for affection, if that makes sense. The next one is actually the fear of vulnerability. A lot of avoidants are afraid to be vulnerable. Like actually all of them are, right? But more common with dismissive avoidance, but avoidance in general, that is one of the key markers to how this attachment style is formed, okay? They do know their flaws more than you probably realize, because a lot of times they pretend like they don't, but it's their overcompensation. Deep inside, they do feel like they're very flawed, fearful and dismissive, okay? And they're afraid that if you see those flaws, you're not going to like them. And so they decided long time ago, before you guys even met, I'm sure, that relationships are not valuable because they'll never be accepted in them because they don't have the tools for relationships. And so why have them? And so being supportive and understanding them and being mindful when they're showing vulnerability goes a long way, because this is part of the reasons they withhold relationships. And so if such a case where you're more vulnerable and you're accepting their vulnerability, even if it's just a little bit, and even if their flaws are something that you didn't reckon for, maybe they don't know how to apologize, or their apologies are really not so great, you still appreciate it, and maybe you can prompt them slowly from what you're looking for, but you're not criticizing them because now you've accepted their vulnerability. Now they're more willing to commit to you. The next one is something that I don't think a lot of people recognize, and it's not an offense, and it's not necessarily something that needs to be fixed. It's just something that avoidants are like. Sometimes they just want to be quiet and silent. It doesn't mean they're hiding something from you. It doesn't mean they don't like you. It doesn't mean they're mad at you. They just don't really have anything to say right now. And it doesn't mean that something's wrong. Sometimes they just need to recharge. Sometimes they need to process, or sometimes they just are like that. It's just the way they are, okay? The next one is they value respect, typically over love. And actually they perceive love and respect of the same thing, but respect in general, they don't like when someone rolls their eyes at them. They don't like when somebody crosses their arms or gives an attitude. It really hurts them, and it makes them feel like maybe this relationship is not necessarily valuable or conducive to what they might be looking for, because disrespect is something they take very personally. Respect is a core need of theirs, and it helps them to want to commit and connect, okay? The next one is they actually do appreciate your emotions, your love, your availability, your vulnerability. When you're open, it actually gives them permission to be open as well, even if they don't realize it. As long as it's gentle and it's not like overwhelming, and every relationship is different. Like, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It's just two different people coming from different places. Manage it together, find it out. But there's a reason they picked you. You're an emotional person, right? Maybe a lot of you guys are. They like that about you. That doesn't mean you have to spill it all over top of them. It doesn't mean they have to change you into somebody who's emotionally rigid like them. No, you can meet in the middle, but they do like that you're vulnerable. And there's a part of them, I'm telling you the truth, that, they want to be like you. They don't know why that they struggle with this. I know that I used to be avoidant. Like, it's not a thing on purpose where you don't know how to express and you're just this robot, or you don't have feelings. They don't like that. Or you just are mean. They don't want to be perceived that way. They want to feel like you. And when you show that to them, they get to feel that inner world too. So it feels good. Like they do like that. So don't pull away and completely detach and try and be like them. If they wanted you to be like them, they would pick somebody like that. No, they want that part of you. Right? I hope that makes sense. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.